Welcome to Q&A, a program that raises questions and provides answers on issues of importance to the community. Today's topic is the equal choice legislation passed in August 2006 that provides increased home care services for the elderly and disabled. Our host is Sally Hoyt, Senate President and 14-year member of the Massachusetts Silver Legislature. Sally also was a 12-year member of the Reading Board of Selectmen. And now, the discussion.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have two very distinguished guests with us this afternoon who are going to speak on the Equal Choice Bill. And I think many of us need to know what that represents. And we have two people here who are going to give us the answers. On my near right, left, is Al Norman, Executive Director of Home Health Care, and Dan O'Leary, Executive Director of Mystic Valley Elder Services. And we welcome you here today, and we hope that you will be able to answer some of these questions that I know that people have been asking me right along. Well, the first question I have, or the first statement I have, is last August, the legislature passed a new law that changed how older citizens receive care in their community. Now, what does that law do, and how does it change things? And I'll call on Al to give us the first answer.
Well, Sally, the bill is called the Equal Choice Law. It was signed in August by then Governor Romney. Mm-hmm. And what it does basically is it gives seniors the ability to have a choice to live in the least restrictive setting, the most integrated setting that's appropriate for them. That means their home or the community.
Yes.
And the thing that's so dramatic about it, as you know, as somebody who helped us get this law, is that it really says to seniors, we're going to try to keep you at home first. That's your first option in this state. And it redirects really 30 years of thinking about how Medicaid spends its money, because this state spends a lot of money, over $2 billion, that's with a B, on long-term care. And this law for the first time says we want to spend that money on you at home to keep you where you want to be. So it's responsive to what elders want.
Good enough. Well, next I would like to ask, you've said that the new Equal Choice Law is actually a civil rights bill. And how does that work?
It is a civil rights bill because it goes back to a piece of federal legislation that was written in 1991 called the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that law says that people who are considered to be disabled, they can't do a certain thing around the house, eating, bathing, dressing, that those folks have a right to be cared for in the most integrated setting possible. This all sort of came to a head in 1999 when a U.S. Supreme Court case called the Olmstead decision came along and said that people who are unjustifiably segregated in nursing homes are having their civil rights violated. So now we have a law in Massachusetts that says, yes, it is a violation of your civil rights to keep you in an institution when you could be at home.
Good. And now, Dan, I'm going to ask you, is it really possible to keep someone at home as opposed to placing them in nursing home? And how would you do it?
Well, the answer is yes. Simple as that. Now, doing it on a daily basis, as you know, Sally, because you've been in this work with us for a long time, it's not easy to do it, but it is absolutely possible. And following up on what Al was saying is that what we've been doing a good job for 35 some odd years with the home care program. Mystic Valley Elder Services is one of 27 agencies in the state through the Mass Home Care Association, funded primarily by the state legislature with some money from the federal government. We've been doing a good job at helping people remain at home. We do it in partnership with the older person themselves because they're an active partner who's helping direct the care. They're in charge. That's one of the other parts of what Equal Choice is about, really empowering older people. Family and friends are critically important in helping someone stay at home. And agencies like Mystic Valley through the Choices program and the Personal Care Attendant program, and we can talk about some of the specific programs later on, are doing a good job at helping people stay at home. What's really exciting about the Equal Choice Law is it puts us on a level playing field with institutions. So where in the past we had a very limited amount of funding available for a person to be able to stay at home, now we're looking at some programs, particularly for low-income people through the Medicaid program, that effectively puts community care on an equal footing. And when I say on an equal footing, not only in terms of philosophy, but in terms of the money available, because that's what it's going to take to provide that intensive in-home care services. And we're doing it now. We're doing it across the state. And it's extremely exciting for you, me, my families. We really do now have a choice. So the answer is we absolutely can do it. It's not easy, but we do it every day.
Thank you, Dan, and that's very good information. I have another question for you. And what are some of the examples of the programs that exist today here in Massachusetts in keeping people out of nursing homes?
Perfect follow-up question. Let's get right down to it, right? And keep people at home. The first thing I guess I would like to say is the viewers should call 1-800-AGE-INFO. That's 1-800-AGE-INFO, and then press 3. That's a statewide toll-free number that will get a caller to the agency who can help them all across Massachusetts. So that's the number one thing. Make the phone call. Because when you call in, what I would say to you and your viewers is the important thing is to say what we should be saying to the consumer is, how can we help you? Sure. Tell us what it is you need. My job and the job of the people who work for Mystic Valley and the other aging service access point agencies is what we're called across the state. Our job is then to help you figure out with you what's the right program. There are a plethora of programs, all good different programs that the legislature and the federal government have created over the last 35 years that help people. And there are some nuances to the different programs. And we could probably spend 4 hours this afternoon or this evening talking about all the different guidelines. But ultimately, our job is to help figure out with you what's going to make sense. They basically fall into 3 different categories. Programs that are designed to help people who are on Mass Health or Medicaid remain in the community. Programs for people who are low to moderate income, which meet state guidelines that are above Medicaid, but are below what we would call upper middle class or wealthy folks. And then there are programs for everyone, regardless of income or circumstance. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Under the Mass Health program, we have Community Choices, Personal Care Attendant Program, Group Adult Foster Care, Adult Family Care, all programs designed to help people who are primarily nursing home eligible and meet Mass Health guidelines. Then we have programs called the State Home Care Program, respite programs, programs for caregivers, basic in-home services for people with incomes, individuals of approximately less than $22,000 a year, or about $30,000 for a couple income. And then we have programs, home delivered meals programs, congregate dining site programs, information programs, programs for caregivers for people, any resident of the Commonwealth. And we're lucky to live in Massachusetts. Massachusetts has a very rich array of services that are available for families and caregivers regardless of income. So we have a broad range of things.
I should say. Well, thank you. That is good information. Thank you. And now for Al, what is this new nursing home pre-admission program and how does it work?
Well, part of the Equal Choice Law is a requirement now that everyone who's seeking care in a nursing home have a sit-down conversation with an expert in the field of community-based care for the purpose of explaining to them what their options might be living in the community. Because a lot of folks go into nursing homes without really knowing what the alternative was. And that's too bad because it's very expensive to go into a nursing home, and people who have saved up a little bit of money are going to spend it very quickly on nursing home care and find themselves pretty much impoverished. Sure. So the idea is to get it right for the first time before you need nursing home care, find out what the options are. So the Commonwealth is putting together what they call a counseling and assessment program on a pre-admission basis. That means in the hospitals, in the community, workers like those at Mystic Valley Elder Services will be in hospitals meeting with people whose doctor is saying to them, I want your mom to consider a nursing home. Instead of just making that an automatic decision,